Okay, we began a sugya yesterday about Achan, the story with Achan, because Achan is the Mishnah told us that when a person is being taken out to be killed, we want him to be misvada. We want to go ahead and admit what he did. And the classic case of that is Achan. Achan admits that he had taken from the spoils of Yericho. So the story of Achan, briefly, it's Yeshua, they go into Eretz Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to go ahead and be Mechazik Yisrael. So what does he do? The first city that they get to is Yericho. Yericho, the Navi tells us, Sogeres and Muskeres, you couldn't get into Yericho. It was impenetrable. You couldn't get in. It was just, and it was unbelievable. What happens is, of course, as they destroy Yericho, the walls go down. And Yeshua had said, now no one told him to say this, but Yeshua said no one should take from the spoils of Yericho. No one should take from the spoils of Yericho, and it shouldn't be rebuilt. Nothing. Zero. Bnei Yisrael go to war against Ai. The second war is against Ai. Very small nation. They said, those only send 3,000 people, and they lose. Yeshua is distraught. He said, how is that possible? They're on a roll. Since Mitzrayim, they haven't lost anything. They're not losing. And what happens is they lose, and he starts davening, and Akash Baruch Hu tells him, Yisrael. He says, Yisrael sinned. And he says, Yisrael sinned? He goes, yeah. So he says, so who did it? So Akash Baruch Hu says, Adulteranani, you think I'm going to tell you? I'm not a snitch. I'm not going to snitch. I'm not going to snitch on you, on the person. Find out yourself. So he throws the goyrel. And the Goyrel finds it falls on this person Achan, who was from Yehuda. Achan says, "You're catching me with a Goyrel? Anyone, you put a Goyrel between you and Elazar, the two big tzaddikim in the dar, also one of you will be guilty." So he says, "Simna kavod Hashem b'ni," because the Goyrel is going to be used to Eretz Yisrael, and he admits what happens. So tonight's daf, basically, what is very much all about Achan and Yeshua. That's the first part of the daf. So we're picking it up. We're picking it up on Mem Gimel Amid Beis. Mem Gimel Amid Beis. How many lines up from the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up from the bottom. But Hashnamai Time Yonish, we said that he had taken from the other Goyrel, other Charamim in Eretz Yisrael, in Chutz La'aretz, before they got in. So it's not the first time that he's pilfered some of the spoils. So why did he wait till he's punished now? My time onish. Why wasn't he punished now? Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rebbe Elazar says Rabbi Yochanan in the name of Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon, the fishlei onish al nistaros, because you're not punished on averis that no one knows about. At she'ovru Yisrael as a yardain, until Yisrael crossed the yardain. So the averis of him taking from the spoils before they got into Eretz Yisrael won't be punished, but once they got into Eretz Yisrael, you'll be punished. Kit hanoi. So machlokes Tanoim, whether you're punished for averis that people don't know about until you get to Eretz Yisrael. What does it say? And the stars Hashem Elokeinu, v'aniglois lanu, those that are hidden are to Hashem, and those that are revealed to us, ulevaneinu, and to our sons ad olam. Now, if you look in the Torah, there's nekudas on top of these lines. Laman nakar al lanu ulevaneinu v'al ayin shebe ad olam. Why are there nekudas over there? Malame shlei onish al nistaros, that you're not punished for the nistaros, you're not punished for nistaros. Ashav Yisrael es hayarden. So it says nistaros Hashem Elokeinu, but not only to Hashem, only for a certain period of time till Hashem. What's that certain period of time? As long as you make it to Eretz Yisrael. You look at the pasuk, it appears carte blanche. Any hidden avera will never be punished. No, it's come to memayit nistaros until how long? Until you get into Eretz Yisrael. Once you're in Eretz Yisrael, so that he took from the Chayrim before, those in the stories, no one knew about it, and therefore you're punished. You're not punished until you get into Eretz Yisrael. Different Rabbi Yehuda. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Amalev Nechemya, v'chi onish al nistaros la'olam. Are they punished at all in the stories? Like Nemar ad olam. In other words, there's no limitation. It says in the stories that Hashem ad olam. Mashman in the stories, that are the averos that are not known. Only Hashem, but not you. You're not going to. So there's no punishment. So you're limiting it to what? To leaving it Eretz Yisrael. It says ad olam, mashma forever. Ella, why isn't the Nekudas come to go? What did the Nekudas come to do? Keshem shloi onish al nistaros. Just like they're not punished al nistaros, kachloi onish al oinashon shebegoloi ashav yisrael sayadin. So the nistaros you never punish for, and even the niglois that you know about, you're not going to be punished until they make it what into Eretz Yisrael. So this is Reb Nechemia. If that's the case, Achan my tamei onish. So why is Achan punished? Says Rashi, Achan my tamei onish Yisrael aleha. In other words, you just told me that the Nistaros fellas, even when you made it to Eretz Yisrael, like Rabbi Yehuda makes sense. Like Rabbi Nechemia, the Nistaros, you're not going to be punished even in Eretz Yisrael. So why was Achan punished? It's a Aveira Shebestira. No one knew about this Aveira, yet he is. The Yisrael are punished. We see they go to war and they lose. People die. Says the Gemara, Mishum Havi Yodabe Yishtoyabonov. It wasn't his stories because his wife and his wife and his children, they knew about the fact that he took from the Chayrim of Yerichai. They knew about Chayrim Yerichai. Okay, now the Gemara just discussed.
If it's this, even if it's the stories, it can only be maximum 3 generations, right?
Why he's saying the stories don't punish at all?
But his wife and children say knew about
it. So in the stories, now his wife knew about it. The Chata Yisrael. Why is Yisrael punished? Not him. Yisrael en masse. Why are they punished? If it's since it's in the stories, you should be punished at all, like Reb Nechemia. So on that we're answering, it wasn't in the stories. So now, Rav Abba bar Zavda, Afa Pishach. So the pasuk says, fellas, the pasuk says, Chata Yisrael v'gam avru es brisi. Yisrael sinned; they were over on my bris. Asher tzivisi son that I commanded them. So you see that Yeshua had come up with the idea of the cherem, yet HaKadosh Baruch Hu was masking, because it says the cherem asher tzivisi, that I was mitzvah, even though he wasn't. Oisam, v'gam lochu min hacherem, v'gam gonvu, v'gam kichashu, v'gam samu b'chleim. You have there's 5 gams there. Keep that in mind. So what? Chata Yisrael, Amar Rav Abba bar Zavda, Afa pi shechata Yisrael hu. Despite the fact that Bnei Yisrael are chayta, nonetheless we're Yisrael. Yisrael again. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu understands we're doing an Averis. We spoke out the beautiful from the Mashkiach of Shlomo Kabach Zekat Tzadik Kadosh Avracha. We spoke out that what the worst thing about an Aveira is the schism, the period that's created as a result of Aveira. You do an Aveira, but guess what? You're still my kinder. You're still Yisrael. Amar Rav Abba Hainu Dami Inshi Asa Dekoi Beini Chilfi. If you have a das that's among the Chilfi, among the, I guess the, what's that called? Aravis. Asa Shmei, it's called an Asa. V'Asa Karile. And it's called an Asa. So Yisrael, even though they're sinned, right, wherever they are, they're still what? They're still Yisrael. The pasuk continues, V'gam Ovres Brisi, Asher Tzivisi Aisam, Gam Lochu Min Acherim, Gam Gonvu, Gam Kochashu, Gam Sama B'Kaleihem, Rabbi Loi, Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Bar Masparta, Melamed Sha'ava Ochen Al Chamisha Chumshei Torah. When it says the Gam, 5 times, he was over on Chamisha Chumshei Torah. It wasn't just that he did this Avera. Shenemar Chamisha Gam. It says 5 Gam. So it's going to see Achan was a little more guilty than that. Rabbi Loi, Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Bar Masparta, in the name of Yehuda Masparta. I just want to make sure Masparta, that's his name. Yeah, Masparta, right. Achan Moishech Bar Lasahoya. Again, that we had the same lashon by Adam. Moishech Bar Lasa, literally, he's being Moishech in his Arla that he doesn't want to be a Nishkan Yid. He doesn't want to be a Yid. He wants to be a guy. He doesn't want to do the Torah. It says by taking from the Chayrim is over on the bris. My bris rod, he was Mefer. So Pshita, the Ma'udetema b'mitzvah gufa le'pakar. I would think in the mitzvahs le'pakar, he wasn't mafking himself for everything. Kamash Malon. So this is indicative of this Aveir is indicative of what? Of his whole philosophy to Yiddishkeit, that he was mafking himself for everything. V'chi asa nevola b'Yisrael. The pasuk Gimel says, "V'hoya hanilkad b'cherem, v'hoya hanilkad b'cherem yisaref be'esh." The one who was captured by the cherem should be burnt in fire. I saw him. There's kol shaloi and everything to him. Ki over es bris Hashem. V'chi asa nevola b'Yisrael. This is said regarding Achan, that he should be burnt, and everything should be burnt. And because he was over, now nevola is usually used what? By immorality. We use it we used to see it like by Dina that Shem is ma'anasa navala lashon naval is now. So v'chi'as navala b'Yisrael amrav Abba Razav the Melamed shebol achan ar marasa achan. Not only did he take from the Cherem, but he did in navala. It also says by nar marasa ki asa navala b'Yisrael. Right? That's so. Ksiv hacha v'chi'as navala v'ksiv hasan by nar marasa ki asasa navala b'Yisrael. She didn't cry out. Says no pshita. So Madatei Makula highlight Paka Navshe. I might think so far, so wide he wasn't Paka Kamash Malon, that the extent of Achan's leaving Yiddishkeit was tremendous. Ravina Amar Dine Kenayim Marasa, the Beskila. It doesn't mean that he was boiling Amarasa. The comparison was that the Allah of an Marasa. Just like an Marasa is Beskila, so too Achan was Beskila. Doesn't say Achan's being punished. What's the punishment for taking for the Cherem? There's no punishment for it. There was a Hirah Shah that Yeshua made at the time. What punishment was he given? So by going ahead, ki us in Nevala Yisrael, we're saying that just like where it says Nevala by Namur Rasa, she's punished with Skila, so too where it says Nevala by Achan, he's punished with Skila. Amlevish Glusel Rav Huna. Ksiv, Vayikach Yeshuas Achan, Ben Zerach, Ves Akesef, Ves Aderes. This is all the booty that he took from Yericho. Ves Loshen Azov, Ves Bonav, Ves Benoisav, Ves Shoiroi, Ves Chamoiroi, Ves Soinoi, Ves Oyaloi, Ves Kolashaloi, Imhuchata. In other words, it's mashma that they're also being destroyed. Says the Gemara, Imhuchata, Bonav Benoisav Maichata. What do they do? Amalei ul Tamech, Imhuchata, Kol Yisrael Maichata. If he sinned, then Yisrael will punish. They went to war and lost. Ella, what do you have to say? It says the pasuk says they all went down. What's the lashon in the pasuk? The pasuk says, "Vayikra Shuas Achan ben Zerach ves Kesef and everything. Banav benaisav Shoyre Chamarit Soinoi Aloi ves Kol Shaloi v'Chol Yisrael Imai Vayalu Oisam Emek Achar." So what does he mean? V'Chol Yisrael Imai. What did Yisrael do? You know, you're only asking on his kids. Why don't you asking on all Klal Yisrael? Ella lir daisan. The purpose was to go ahead and teach them Hachanami lir daisan. In other words, they all had to go learn. They all had to be there, but not that they're going to be killed, but to learn what happens when you go against the word of Hashem. It says Vayisafu oisam be'esh, and they burnt them in Eish. Now, obviously, they didn't burn the children. What did they do? They didn't burn him because we just said that last. He gets skila, right? So Ella, so what do you have to say? Vayiskalu oisam ba'avonim. So Vayisru oisam be'esh, Vayiskalu oisam ba'avonim. Betarti, Fred the Gemara. Two punishments, skila and streifa. You don't get skila and streifa. Amravina, haroy l'streifa, l'streifa. Of the spoils that he took, that in order to destroy them, you had to burn them, they were burnt. They were burnt. So for example, Rashi says, the silver, the gold, the begadim, you can't stone them, so you burnt them. Haroy l'skila, skila. And him, Achan, and the animals, right? That roy for skila, they got skila. So it's not that they got two punishments. The appropriate punishment went to the appropriate object. The era. So now Achan is being misvadeh that he did his avera. So what does he say that he did? For era bashalol aderes shina achas toiva umasayim shkolim kesef and 200 shkolim kesef for loshin zahav. Rav Amar, what is a aderes shina? Rav says, I'll tell you what it is. Rav says it's itzdola, the milsa. Rav says the melta. It's some type of fine wool. Rashi brings, there's a certain wool, from the time that the lamb is born, they cover it up, they wrap it up. I think in Masechta Shabbos. And it's totally white. It's very fine. It never gets schmutz or anything, right? Never gets schmutzidik or anything. So that's an itzla, some type of cloak made from this fine wool. Ushmula sarbala the tzrifa. It was a dyed with alum, a dyed beged. So again, it's something that was very, very attractive and expensive. Now, what did Yeshua do? It says Yeshua It says, Vayikochum mitoicha oyel, Vayivier Yeshua. He brought it to him. Veskol b'nei Yisrael, Vayatzikum l'fnei Hashem. And Yeshua went ahead and threw it out in front of Hashem. What did he do? Rav Nachman, Bo v'chotem l'fnei Hamakon. Yeshua came and he varved this and he threw it in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he said, Rabbi Shalom, Al Elu Tihoreg Ruba Shel Sanhedrin, because of these objects, the majority of Sanhedrin be killed. When they went Anshe Ai, the men of Ai went ahead, killed Kishloishim V'Sheshish, like 36 people. Sanhedrin 71, 36 is Roiv Sanhedrin. Betanya, Shloishim V'Shesh Mamish, the Reb Yehuda, that 26 people died. Amler of Nehemiah, V'chi Shloishim V'Shesh Hayu, V'haloi Loi Nemar Ela Kish Shloishim V'Shesh. It says like Shloishim V'Shesh. Ela Zeh Yair Ber Menashe. This refers to Yair, the son of Menashe, Sheshokol Keneged Ruba Shel Sanhedrin, who was equal to the Roiv Sanhedrin. So one person died in battle, but that person was equal to what? Roiv Sanhedrin. Okay, so this is the Maisa with this is the Maisa with Achan. Not yet, Kenny. Okay. Rav Nachman Amar Rav. My dichsev, right? My dichsev. What does the pasuk say? Tachanunim yedaber rosh. The poor person davens tachanunim in a bakavadika supplication dika way. The usher, but the wealthy person yana azus. He answers with azus, with the brazenness, anaz, a starkite. Tachanunim yedaber rosh. He said Moshe. Who's that referred to? It's Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu davened. He davened in a very appropriate manner. The Osher Yana Asa said Yeshua Shediber Balash. He spoke in a harsh way. He spoke in a harsh way to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now the Gemara is going to try to figure out where exactly do we see Yeshua speaking in a harsh way to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, says the Gemara. My timer. Ilema mishum dichsev vayatzikum fnei Hashem. He threw it out in front of Hashem. V'amar Rav Nachman. Didn't Pinchas do the same thing? And Pinchas is the Mamish stopped him Gefa. Pinchas is for historically his tefillah is unbelievable. Ivok Siv Vayamay Pinchas Vayafalel. Pinchas went ahead. He came along and Vayafalel. What does Vayafalel mean? The Gefa and the Gefa stopped. It doesn't say any davened. He was making a din v'cheshbon in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wasn't davening. He was speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Midas Adin. What did he do? He came along, the Chavtan. We're going to see guys in Chelik. He had Zimri and Cosby on a stick. And he took them and he threw them down in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amalafonov. Rebbeinu Shalom, Al Elu Yiflu Esrin ve'arba Elef miYisrael, 24,000 people should die as a result of this. Dichsiv Vayu Amasayim Magefa Arba ve'esrim Elef, 24,000. So in other words, if the act of Yeshua throwing down the spoils was an act that's so difficult, you can't say that because Pinchas did the same thing. The Tiyatza Magefa, and Hashem obviously was very happy with what he did. Magefa stopped. Hacha. There's a different pasuk. Lama he'evarto avir es amazeh es hayarden. In other words, after they lost the eye, he said, "Why'd you bother taking us across the Yarden? We should have lived in Ever Yarden." That's what Yeshua said. Said Moshe Nami Meima Ama. Moshe also said that. Lama Raisi Lama Zeh. So that can't be. That's a harsh way of speaking because you compared Yeshua to Moshe. Moshe was a rash. He spoke in a very, very. He was poor and he spoke in a tachnunim dik way. And if this is the lashon of Azus of Yeshua, Moshe did the same thing, and yet you said Moshe was b'divei tachnunim. Elamihacha v'luhu alnu v'neshev be'eva yarden. Woe that you should have chosen, and we should live be'eva yarden. Vayom Hashem Yeshua kum lach, right? Get up. Darash of Shila Amalei Hakadosh Baruch Hu shalcha kashim b'shalehem. Ani amarti v'hoya ba'avrachem es yarden takimu v'atem richaktem samich mil. In other words, I told you when you go across the Yarden to set up the stones right there. What did you do? You went to Hagrizim Arevel, which was 60 mil away. Busted enough. After Rav Shilas left, Ukim Rav Amoira Lahav Vidorish Kashet Tziva Hashem Es Moshe Avdoi Kain Tziva Moshe Es Yeshua V'Chinasi Yeshua Lehesa Davim Mikol Ashet Tziva Hashem Es Moshe. So he did nothing wrong. And came out Kum Lach that you did something wrong. Amalei Ata Garamta Lehem. You by placing you had a problem. You placed the chayrim on them in the first place. I didn't ask you to put the chayrim on it. You created this isser. You created the chayrim. You're the one who did this. And this is what is meant when he said to him, Bo'ai. And he said what? In the Melchemes of Ba'ai. Behind the Kamalei Ba'ai. He said in the battle of Ai. V'asis la'ai ulamalka, kasher asis li'yericho ulamalka. Right? And that just like there, you shouldn't take from the spoils. Also over there, you shouldn't take from the spoils. But the bottom line is, I guess the way he's speaking, V'luha alnu v'neshu be'eva yarden was a different the way he spoke, and therefore that's the lashon of asus used by what? By Yeshua. Now, Yeshua goes to battle against Yericho, Yeshua goes to battle against Ai, and the Malach shows up. And this is the conversation that takes place. So in other words, we're in Sefer Yeshua, and we're speaking about Achan. Okay, so it says, Vasisla la'ai al-malka, kashasisla Yericho al-malka, rak shalom behema tavozu. Let's go back over what I just said before. You should do the same thing to destroy them. However, rak shalom behema tavozu. Not like Yericho where you didn't let them take from the cherem. Rak shlola behema tavoizu in I they can take from the cherem. I'm correcting myself. Rak shlola you should take from the cherem. Okay. Vayibiyas Yeshua be Yerichoi, and what's when Yeshua is Yerichoi? Vayisav Eina Vayar. V'hine the pasuk says, V'hine ish oimei lenegdoi. There was a person standing opposite him. V'charbay shlufa biyadoi, and he had a drawn sword. Vayelch Yeshua elav. Vayemer loi. Halanu ato im litzarenu. Are you with us, or are you what? With our enemies? Okay? So Vayomer loi, no, Keni Satsu Hashem atabasi. I've come now, I'm the Satsu Hashem. Vayipol Yeshua Alpanav, Artsav Ishlachvu. Yeshua bows down to him. Heicha Ovid Hachi. How could Yeshua bow down to him? Vam Rabbi Yochanan, Asalei L'Adam Shitin Shalom L'Chaver B'Layla, Chashin Hashem Shedhu. Person goes ahead and gives Shalom Aleichem at night. Maybe he's a shade. So how can he bow down to him? How can he talk to him? Maybe he's a shade. Shani Hasan the Kamalei, Ani Satsu Hashem Atabasi. A shade could not say the Shem Hashem. A shade cannot say the Shem Hashem. Let's look at the last taisus on the page. Chashin Hashem Shedhu. Dafka b'sadei sebaharim. Dafka in the fields and in the mountains. Makam shem b'nei adam mitzuyim. The shchichi sham shedim. Afilu b'yoyim. Ki hahu the perik basa the Yavamis. Sha'ala lahar aval be'ir afilu b'layla lechashin. In the city, you don't have to worry about shedim. You love hachi heich adam nice shalom chaver b'layla. If you see your friend at night, how can you say shalom aleichem? Right? It may be chayis b'shedim. Ve'ich ishim iskaresh b'layla. How can a woman be divorced at night? Mishani hacha the chazile bebua the bebua kin mishani mishum deim bebua nikares b'layla. In other words, a shade doesn't have a double bua, doesn't have a double reflection. So it was nighttime. There's no reflection. So in answer to how could he answer him? It's a shade. You don't have to worry about that because he used what? He used the Shem Hashem. Atabasi, v'dil mishakri. Maybe he's lying. In other words, the shade is not going to go ahead and be mafik shem shemayim.
You don't go in the house. That's when we don't close the windows because the shade has to get out. So obviously they come at the house too.
Right.
Not only the sun, but the shade.
They come in and out.
I mean, they don't stay there.
Yeah. You're not speaking to them. Not speaking to you either. Okay. Amalei emesh betaltem tamid shel bein abayim. Yesterday you mavatul Torah b'shamayim. Okay, here's a little background, fellas. Here's a little background. Let me see. I could be that it's in the Taisus that I sent out. The Taisus in Megillah. Okay, so yesterday you mavatal what? The carbon tamid shel ben abayim. The action betaltem talmud Torah. Aleisim him boss. So what are you coming for? Amalei Atabasi, I'm coming now. I'm coming now for what? For Bittul Torah. Miyad it says, Vayolan Yeshua Balayla Hu, and he spent that whole night B'toicha Emek. What does B'toicha Emek mean? Now, two things are over here. One, Taka, why didn't he bring the carbon tamid? Two, why did they stop learning? And three, why does it use the pasuk by Yerichoi than by I? It says by I, but the conversation with the Malach took place before the battle against Yericho. Okay, so let's see the Taisus in over here. You have a okay. I sent out only one thing today, guys. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but only one thing today, and it's this Taisus in Megillah. So this is Gimel Amid Aleph. Emish betalta tamid shabein abayim kasha. Amai batlua. Why were they mevatel the tamid? Bishlei metalmid Torah batlu l'fisha hayit sarim alair. They were sieging the city. Kol Yisrael. Avol kahanim amai lo hayim akrivim at tamid. The kahanim. Why didn't they bring the carbon tamid? V'yesh leimar l'fisha arin lahaya b'mkaimai. What happened was, fellas, Yeshua went ahead. He took the arin and he brought him. He took the machnet to go ahead and instill. To give the people an oomph that they'll see the Arin and they'll go ahead and we see by the battle by Shmuel, they put the Arin out there by Shaul, and it's the enemy got scared, right? So the Arin would be a similar, would be to be machazik to people. Now the Arin wasn't in its place, so since the Arin wasn't in its place, they didn't bring the carbon tamid. Kedom perik hadar and erevin, but kahanim noisim es Arin. Then Toimar. So no, since the kahanim are carrying the Arin, they weren't busy with the avodah. So that's why they didn't bring the carbon tamid. Then Toimar, the Hechi Mashma Lishna the Kra, the Batlu Atamid, the Talmud Torah. Where do we see from the Lashon of the Pasuk that the Matal the Talmud? It doesn't say this anywhere in the scriptures proper. Where do you see it? It says the Gemara Veish Leimar, the Hachi Perushai. Mid the Gemara Halano Ata, when Yeshua said to the Malach, "Are you with us?" Hachi Kamar, Bishvil Talmud Torah Bos Dichsiv. Torah Tziva Lanu. Good. So the remes is the word Lanu. And then he goes, Hello, Ata Lanu Oy Litzarenu. What is Im Litzarenu? Oy Bishvil HaKarbanis Shemaginim Aleinu Mitzarenu. Or the Karbanis that protects us from our enemies. So the allusion in the Taisus tells us are the words Lanu and Sarenu. Lanu is Torah Tziva Lanu. And Sarenu, Torah, the Karbanis go ahead and protect us.
What daf in Megillah is this?
Gimel Amid Aleph. So now, guys, it says Vayolam Yeshua b'Laylahu b'Toicha Emek. Now this pasuk is said by I. This pasuk said by I. When did the Bittul Torah and Bittul Tamid and Torah take place? By Yericho. That was a separate battle, fellas. In other words, it's two different conversations. The conversation with the Malach took place before the battle of Yericho. And the conversation now the Gemara is the pasuk they're bringing that he spent learning is by I. So what Taisus here? That's the last Taisus. Vayolin Yeshua b'Layla hu b'Toicha Emek. Sorry about. Like Siv b'Haykra came. Elakishit Sar al Yericho Ksiv. Vayolin b'Layla hu b'Toicha Am. Ukishit Sar al Ai Ksiv. Vayelech b'Layla hu b'Toicha Emek. So you know what he did, guys? What the Gemara just did, it made a contraction. It went ahead and combined two things. It combined the lashon of what Vayolin that it says what by Yericho, and it combines it Vayolin what by B'Soicha Emek. B'Soicha Emek is the lashon by I. V'derech hashas to lekatza psukim ula'arvon. It's the way of the shas to go ahead and cut off the psukim ula'arvon and put them together. Yachad kamei v'nosna kesef v'kamloi. Right, even though it's not one word after the other, it's the way of the Torah to go ahead to get an idea across. So Yeshua is now going to delve into the depths of Torah as a result of the speech of the Malach, and he's doing it by I. And the Shmuz was by Yerichai. Ama Shmuel bar Unya Mishmeid Rav Gadol Talmud Torah Yosem Me'akravis Tamidim. Greater is what is Talmud Torah. Greater is Talmud Torah than what? Then bringing of the carbon Talmud. Shnemar Atabasi So he asked him, what are you coming for now? Are you coming because you've been vatal tamid, or are you coming for Spittle Torah? He goes, Atabasi. It's nighttime. You can't bring kabbanis at nighttime. So Atabasi, now I've come now to tell you about you have to learn. Amalei Abayla Rav Dimi. Hi Kra b'Marava b'May Mukmislei. This pasuk. So now we know Rav Dimi used to come up from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Rav Dimi Rabbi Yochanan, Rav Rav Rabbi Yochanan. He was the emissary. We went back and forth. We settled in Bavel, and now he asked him, "What's pshat in this pasuk?" He asked him, "What exactly is pshat in this pasuk?" B'May Mukmislei. Al Teitzei Lariv Maher. Pen ma ta'aseh b'achrisa b'hachlim oischa reyacha. What? Don't go out so fast to go ahead and fight. What will you do? What will you do when what? B'hachlim oischa reyacha, when your friend embarrasses you. Rivcha, your riv esreyecha, the fight that you have with your friend. The soid acher loy segol. So whatever fight you'll have with your friend, but don't reveal his secret. As I state. Okay, now why does pshat in this pasuk? B'shasham le'akadosh baruch hu licheskol leichem olahem Yisrael avicha ha'amoiri ve'imcha hachiti. Your father was a Amoiri and your mother was a Chiti. Right? Look at Rashi, fellas. Who's your father that was an Amoiri and it was a Chiti? Says Rashi on the right side. Guys, we have double Rashi. No, there's no Tosfos. On the right side, parallel to this Gemara, it says, Avicha Amoiri, Terach, Va'avoisav Mikanan, Bo. Now, it's a little shverlich, right? Where did Terach come from? He came from Shem. Canaan was the fourth child of Cham. So you're telling me that you're calling Terach a Canaani. He really wasn't a Canaani. He was a Shemi. He was a Shemi, right? He was from Shem. So, Orich Neneri asks the Kasha, and he says that he did Maisa and Moiri, Maisa Chiti, because Ovid Avodah Zarah. The Gemara in Chulin says, fellas, that the source of Avodah Zarah in the world is Eretz Yisrael, is the Canaanim. That they do that we keep do Avodah Zarah in Chutz Laretz is Minig Avasechem B'Yadechem. We'll see Gemara in Chulin. Okay, anyway, so that's why it's Shver Rashi. The answer Rashi, the Maruch Lener says Pshat is they did the Maisa of the Canaanim. So now, what does it mean? Lechem Yisrael Avicha Amari V'Imechiti. Amra Ruach Paskonis LeHaKadosh Baruch Hu. A Ruach Paskonis said in front of Hashem. Says Rashi, who's this Rumus Paskonis? It's Gavriel. Says Malch Gavriel. The Gemara disagrees. Rashi says Gavriel. So said Gavriel LeHaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ben Shloim Im Yavo Avram Besara V'Yamdu Lefanecha Ata Oimel Lehem Umachlam Oisam. Would you go ahead and embarrass them? Rivcha Riv Esreyecha V'Soid Acher Al Segal Umi. So would I need Rashi here? Would if Avram and Sarah stand in front of you, Achla Machla Mesa Shata Koira Sam Emori V'Chiti? Would you call them Emori V'Chiti? Rivecha Riv Esreyecha Im Yeshlecha Lachiach Es Yisrael. If you have to give Musa to Yisrael, Hachichem Biatzmam. Give Musa to them themselves. V'soit shel Avraham v'Sara al sagel. Do not reveal. Levasaisam. Don't reveal that they were over there by the Zara. Pen matase bevoyim Avram v'Sara lefanecha. Come in front of you. V'oimrim machatanu lecha she'ata machlimenu. What did we do wrong that you're embarrassing us? So Kaviyachol, this Malach is giving Musa to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kaviyachol. So again, back inside. Amar ruach paskonis leHaKadosh Baruch Hu ben shleilam. Im yavo Avram b'Sara v'yamdu l'fanecha. Ato omer lehem umachlam eisam by calling them over the avodah Zara. Rivacha riv imreyacha. Right? If you fight the fight, go ahead, give Musa to Yisrael directly. V'soid acher al to go, but don't reveal the secrets of Avram and Sarah. Mislay reshusei kulehai. Does the Malach Gavriel have reshus to speak in such a manner? In Dam Rav Yosi Reb Chanina Sholish Shemus Haim. He has three names. Piskoin, Itmoin, and Sigroin. Piskoin, Shepoisik Devarim, Klape Maila, that he spoke in a short, succinct way, Klape HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's Lashon to cut off, Poisik. Itmoin, Sheoitim Avanasem Shal Yisrael, he stuffs up the Avanis of Yisrael. Sigroin, Kivin Shesaika, Shuvain Pasech. Once he closes his mouth There's nothing else to say. The pasuk says, "Hayorcha shu'acha loy batzar." Did you go ahead and arrange the tefillah when you were not yet in trouble? This is what Miyo's friends say to him. A person should daven before the tzara. Shimali hikdem Avram tefillah tzara bein beis el bein I leinishtay misha Yisrael soru palit. It says, guys, in Lech Lecha, Avram comes to I, and it says he davens there. Rashi brings, what is he davening for? He was davening for the future, what's going to happen there. So in other words, Avram's tefillah mitigated a much worse problem that would have happened. So before the tzara happens, if you can daven, it's always helpful. Reish Lakish Amar, Kol hama'ametz atzmei b'tefillah, anyone who strengthens himself tefillah, milmata, ein leit tzarim milmayla. In Shemayim, there won't be people who mitzara him. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, lo ilu yivakesh adam rachamim, sheyikol ha'ma'amtzim es koichoi. A person should go ahead and mivakesh rachamim, sheyikol ma'amtzim es koichoi, val yiyu leit tzarim milmayla. That he should not have what? Any tzarim milmayla. Minayin shekip alei vidui. How do you know that Achan admitted his Aveira? Tanrabanan. Minayin shekip alei vidu shnema vayom leYeshua machar tanu. Whatever you clouded us today, Yakach Hashem Hayom. Hashem clouded you today. Hazeh. Hayom hazeh ata achar. You clouded this day means in Olam hazeh. V'ata achar Olam haba. But you won't be clouded for the next world. Uksiv u'bnei zerach Zimri ve'eson ve'Hamon. What? Let me make sure I read the pasuk right. Vadora, V'chalkol, Vadora, Kulam Chamisha. These are all the five children of Zerach. Of 5 children of Zerach. Ma Kulam Chamisha. Kulam Chamisha hin Olam haba. They're all 5 to Olam haba. Ksiv Zimri, Ksiv Achan. Right? What's his real name? Rabbi Shmuel Chadam Achan. Shmuel's real name was Achan. V'lama Nikra Shmai Zimri. Shasa Maisa Zimri. He did a Maisa Zimri. Again, we said he was boil a Naim Rasa. Chadam is Zimri Shmuel. His name was Zimri. V'lama Nikra Shmai Achan. She'ichin avonisem shel Yisrael. He wound up the avonis. He wound up like a snake. The avonis shel Yisrael. Now it's very interesting, guys. Be aware. Achan wrote a tefillah that we see every single day. Al, Kain, Nekaveh. Ayin, Al, Kain, Nekaveh. Yeshua wrote Aleinu, guys. Yeshua wrote the tefillah of Aleinu, and do you know this, guys? Achan? No, I've said it 100 times. But Achan wrote Al Kain Nekaveh. So Al Kain Nekaveh is Lashon Vachan. Say it every single day. Okay, let's finish up. What? He was obviously, you see clearly that what? That it was Ashkenaz. You see clearly that again. This you're saying very good. You're saying very good. Yeah. What? Yeah, versteht sich. There's a rush. There's a Chuvas a rush. That the real and the rush learned both yeshivas fellas. The rush was Ashkenaz, but he was educated in. He learned by the Bali Toisvis. That's the reason. That's the rush and Psak tremendous because it's both places. And he says Ashkenaz is the right avara. He says Ashkenaz is the right not avara. Not only avara is the yeah. But Moshe Paskins what? Why am I telling you this? You daven Sfarad? Let's say, well, yeah, you're a Yeki. Why am I talking to you? Yeah, good, fight that.
Well, we need some ammunition with people.
But Moshe Paskins, if you go ahead and you daven Sfarad and you change to Ashkenaz, you can't switch back. You can't switch back. Now, Moshe Paskins, he says you can't switch back. My father daven Sfarad. My Zayda is daven Sfarad. I come from Hasidim.
What?
Yeah, it's true. You're looking at a Sanza Inical. You're looking at a Sanza Inical. What?
That's the animosity.
Yeah.
Now I have the animosity.
Where'd you go wrong?
Gebrachs came along.
Neighbor came along.
So you're a tuna bag, what are you saying?
And you're out of my share. Okay. We said if he doesn't know what, fellas, if he doesn't know to be misvadeh, so you speak to him. It says, what does it say? Rabbi Yehuda Omer, it says the following: If I'm not guilty of this, I don't want to kapar for this. I want my kapar for all the averis, but not this. And they told him, if you do that, then everyone going out is going to speak disparagingly about Bezdin. It says, "V'nakum atzmon kidei shloitzi laz al batei dinim v'ala edim." Tan Rabbanan, ma'isa ba'adam echad. There's a ma'isa with a person. Sheyatzel laharig is being taken out to be killed. Amar, im yesh bi oven zeh, if I have this avera that I'm being killed for, like misasi kapara, right, l'chol avanoisai, then my misa should not be a kapara to any of my averis. Vim ain bi oven zeh, but if I don't have this, te misasi kapara l'chol avanoisai, u bezdim v'chol Yisrael menukim, v'aedim lo tehilem mechila lo'olam. The Adim who set me up, and this is what I said going out. Ukesheshamu chachamim bedava, amru lachziroi efsha. We can't bring him back. Shekvar nigzer gezera. Ela yahare kill him. Ve'ikoila tali b'tzarva Adim. Guess what? Kill him and let those Adim get what they have coming to them. Now pshita kol kamina. Letzricha de kahajibu sade. The Adim went ahead and retracted. We don't accept their Adis again. Even if they give a reason for their actions. Okay. Now in parentheses it says Kihu Maisa de Ba'aya Michsa, like the Maisa of Ba'aya, the tax collector. Okay, we're going to go through the Maisa of Ba'aya and the tax collector. You're wondering why there's two Rashis on the side of the page, guys. Look at this, the Rashi on the left side. It starts at line number 3 and it goes all the way down to the Mishnah. So get ready. Rashi's going to tell us story time. Story time with Rashi, guys. But we're going to do it inside. Says Rashi, the Ba'aya Michsa, Maisa b'moiches echad Yisrael, Russia. He was a tax collector and he was a Russia. I think that's synonymous. Shemes Russia echad. Shemes, he died. Uboy b'yoy meis Adam Gadol, and the same day that he died, an Adam Gadol also died be'ir in the same city. Ubo kol b'nei ir v'nisasku b'mitasai, right? All the people came to bury him. Ukroivei oisei moiches, and the relatives of that tax collector. Hoitzigames mita hamoiches achrav. And so you had two funerals at the same time. You had the chashav yid in front, and you had the moiches in the back. The chavzu aleim oivim, the enemies attacked. V'nichum amitos, and they left the mitos and they ran away. Ubarchoi. V'hoyasham talmid echad sheyoshev lo imit the rabbi. He stayed there with the corpse of his Rebbe. Lachazman chazru gedoy la'ir. They all came back. Likver es hachacham. V'neschalfu lehem mitosei b'shal moiches. And they switched up the bodies. V'yoyse talmid soyek. He was screaming. V'leihoyel. It didn't help. Ukroivi hamoiches kivru es hachacham. The kroivim of the tax collector, they buried the chacham. V'nitzdar bo'oyse talmid moed. Machet gorim likover zeh b'bizayev. That he was what? That he was buried. His Rebbe was buried with such bizyonis. Umazoich oyse Russia likover b'kovid gadol kazeh. And yet this tax collector in Russia was zoich to be buried in such what? In such a fine manner. Right. Nira loy rabbi b'chaloim. The Rebbe came to him in his dream. V'amaloi, al titztarba. Don't be in tsar. You should see the cover that I get in Gan Eden. B'chovid gadol. Ubo v'arecha oisai ish b'gehenim. And you see this tax collector. He's not doing so well. Put it that way. V'tzir shel pesach gehenim soiviv ba'aznav. It's surrounding him. Avopam achas shamati b'genus talmid chachamim. One time I heard the genai of talmid chachamim. And I didn't make a macha. I didn't complain. And therefore, what? Since I wasn't moicha for the cover of these Talmid Chachamim, I was punished. One time they prepared a suda for Sarair. This tax collector prepared a suda. You know what he did? He gave it out to the aniyim. So I have one negative going against me. I didn't give proper cover to stand up for the cover Talmid Chacham and be moicha. And this guy did one positive thing, that he went ahead and he gave that niyam food that was supposed to be the sa'ir. And that was his reward, that he got buried in such a dignified way. How long is that guy going to be down there? Until Shimon ben Shetach dies, and he'll take his place. Guys, you tell it. Shimon is going to die and he's going to take his place, and then this ba'ai will come out. It'll come out. Amaloi lama, amaloi mifnei b'chashvan yes Yisraelis yesh ba'Ashkelon. In Ashkelon they have these witches. They have witches in Ashkelon. Ve'ena oisevem din. And Shimon Shechta is let him going ahead, and they're practicing their sorcery and their witchcraft, and he's not doing anything. Lamacha sipois the Talmud dvan l'Shimon Shechta. This Talmud, after he had this dream, ran and he told Shimon Shechta exactly what he heard. Ma'asa kine shmoine bachurim bali kaima. Shimon Shechta got 80 strapping bachurim bali kaima, tall guys. They were tall. You have to see why they're tall in a second. They had to be tall. And it was raining. V'nasan kad gedola biyad kolecha v'yechad, and each one got a big pitcher. V'kipel talis b'soicham, and they tied up, they folded up their talis. I guess some type of tunic or whatever, an overcoat, some type of outerwear. They went ahead and put in these closed containers. The Amalahem and Shimon Shetach told these 80 bechurim, his hero behem, but be careful. Shein shmoinim. So in other words, when you get the call from me, put on these talisim, come inside and pick up those witches. Because if you pick them up, they can't put a spell on you. But if you don't pick them up, he went to their tracklin, their mansion. He left the 80 bechurim outside. Amrulai mi'ata. They said to Shimon Shetach, "Who are you?" Amalahem mechashif ani. I'm a sorcerer. Ulin saskem b'kshafim basi. I came to go ahead and check you out in your kishuf. Amrulai umakshafim biyatcha. What about you? You want to check us out? What about you? So Amalahem yichaloni lahevi lachem. I'm able to bring you shmeina bachurim atufei talisais neguvais. And this rainy day, must be thundering and storming, I'm able to bring you 20 bachrim with dried clothing. They dried clothing. Despite the fact that what? It's a rainy day. Amrulai hanira. Let's see. So Yatza lachutz. So Shimon Shetach went outside for remes lahem, and he gave them the sign. Haitziu atalisas min akadim. They took out the clothing from the barrels. V'nisafu behem, and they wrapped themselves up in them. V'nichlasu. They came in. The achas kol echad es echad, each one mehem. They went and each one took a witch, vigbia, and picked her up. The achul lehem, and they overcame them. V'yitziyam, v'tolam kulam. They took them out. They suspended all of them. V'niskanu kroiveyim b'davar. Ubosh nayim mehem. The kivnu devreya, and what happened? They killed them. V'niskanu kroivim b'davar. And the kroivim of the witches were niskana. They were, they held it against Rav Shimon Shetach. Ubosh naimehem, and two of them came. The kivnu divrayim, and they lied. They idu al benoy shel Shimon Shetach that chayiv misa, and they said that Shimon Shetach is chayiv misa. His son is chayiv misa. The nigmar dinai ukeshahoya yoytzi lisakal, when they take him out to be killed. Amar. Im yesh bi oven zeh leitei misasi kapara li. Vim ena kain tei misasi kapara akol avonaisai the koile told b'tzava edim the shamu elu v'chazu behem the nasnu tamle devrayim. They told him machmas the kinas hanashim v'afa pikein le'niftar. And so that's the Maisa that fills in the story. Who exactly that was? Petach. Rashi. You have a Rashi in Shas, fellas. An Amid of Pirchei. It's an Amid of Pirchei. Rashi tell you. And Penny's Fish is here to hear it.
You in bed already, Penny?